This is the English service of Radio Algeria International. It's time for the news.
The President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, has arrived in Tunisia to take part in the first consultative meeting bringing together the leaders of Algeria, Tunisia and Libya. And the Polisario Front has expressed its gratitude to Algerian government and people for their continuing support to the fight of the Sahrawi people in several fields to face up to the Moroccan expansionist policy. And at the head of the UNRWA affirmed that the situation in the West Bank was worsening day by day. New air raids were launched by the Israeli occupation forces against various areas of Gaza, killing and wounding several people. Those were the major developments. Now the Full News edition. Good afternoon. President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, has arrived in Tunisia to take part to the first consultative meeting bringing together the leaders of Algeria, Tunisia and Libya. On his arrival, President Tebboune was welcomed by Tunisian President Kais Saied. The head of state is accompanied by the Foreign Affairs Minister Ahmed Attaf. And the President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, has chaired a meeting of the Council of Ministers devoted to several sectors, notably the examining of the bill related to civil status of medical and paramedical professionals, the financing of startups, and the follow-up of the implementation of the construction project of the new Media City. Miriam Barshi has the details.
Regarding the progress of the digitalization process, the President hailed the pace of the process, particularly with regard to the digitization of ministerial departments. As for the status of the medical and paramedical professions, President Tebboune highlighted the pioneering role of medical and paramedical staff in guaranteeing national health safety, stressing the imperative to grant a special interest to this sector, notably in terms of security and retirement. The President also approved the revision of retirement pensions, all categories combined in light of the evolution of the living standards, ensuring the preservation of social protection for this category while taking into account the financial means of the state. He also ordered the government to find new means of additional funding for the National Pension Fund, CNR, so that the raises are adapted to the evolution of national economy. Regarding the startups financing, the President affirmed that the state will maintain funding and support for the startups that made a remarkable progress in recent years. He added that the next step is to ensure quality and not quantity in the startup sector, notably in terms of the economy of knowledge, intelligence and economic efficiency, affirming that the financing of these companies must target young people. Finally, the Council of Ministers gave its approval for granting the authorization for accepting international offers for the monitoring, the implementation and the equipment of the new Media City. The President stressed the importance of involving national companies in the implementation of this vital project.
And here in Algiers, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, has received the Director General of the International Labour Organization, Mr. Gilbert Hongbo, who is on a visit to our country. The meeting allowed both parties to go over the privileged relations between Algeria and this international organization and to examine ways and means of strengthening and promoting them, particularly through the implementation of cooperation programs of a regional and continental dimension. On this occasion, Mr. Attaf reaffirmed Algeria's absolute support for Mr. Hongbo, being the first African official to hold the position of Director General of the ILO, expressing Algeria's permanent commitment to strengthening African representatives within international organizations. And the spokesman of the National People's Assembly, Ibrahim Boughali, and the delegation accompanying him were received by the head of the Consultative Council or Shura of Oman, Sheikh Khalid bin Hilal bin Nasser Al Mawali. During the meeting, the two parties discussed the deep and old relations linking the two peoples of the two countries. And Majid Mila has the details.
A communique issued by the lower house of parliament indicated that during the meeting held in the presence of the Algerian ambassador to the Sultanate of Oman, Mr. Boughali conveyed his condolences to the Sultanate of Oman following the floods which hit the country recently and which have caused victims. In this context, he affirmed that relations between Algeria and the Sultanate of Oman must be raised to the level of solid political relations, linking the leaders of the two countries, stressing the need to strengthen the trade, cultural and academic exchanges, and to encourage businessmen to invest in the two countries given the significant economic potential they have. The Speaker of the National Assembly highlighted the parliamentary efforts made in support of the official diplomacy and the role in the exchange of expertise and experiences and in the coordination of positions between the two countries in international fora. On this occasion, Boghali called on the two Algerian-Oman friendship groups to intensify dialogue and consultations, hailing the important development made in relations between the two countries during the current parliamentary mandate. Regarding the international situation, he reiterated Algerians' firm position in favor of just causes, on the top of which the Palestinian cause, affirming that Algeria will continue to defend the issue in regional and international fora until the Palestinian people recover all their rights. He further welcomed the convergence of views existing between the two countries, which share the same principles and positions concerning several questions of common interest. The Speaker of Oman's Consultative Council, Sheikh Khalid, for his part, described the relations between the two countries as historic and close, emphasizing the great interest given by the Omani authorities to the strengthening and development of cooperation in different areas, in particular the economic sector, considered a priority for both parties. He also hailed the increase of the investment exchange level, expressing his wish to see it further strengthened given the promising opportunities offered in both countries. Sheikh Khalid insisted on the role that parliaments must play in favor of the Palestinian cause, noting that the situation in Palestine requires a particular interest and called for more efforts and intensified consultation to support the Palestinian issue. At the close of the meeting, Boghali and the delegation accompanying him visited the headquarters of the Shura Council and its various rooms and structures.
You're still listening to Radio Algeria International, and the parliamentary delegation representing the Algeria-Azerbaijan Friendship Group is visiting Baku, Azerbaijan as from today. The visit, which is to last until 25th of this month, is aimed at strengthening the bonds of friendship and promoting bilateral parliamentary cooperation. And the football game that was supposed to be played by the USMA Algiers and the Moroccan club RS Berkane as part of the semi-finals of the Cup of the African Football Confederation did not take place as the players of the Moroccan club refused to enter the playground. The sports director of the USMA Algiers said his team showed up on the ground on time, but the opponents refused to play the match and stayed in locker rooms instead. He said the behavior of the Moroccan club goes against all regulations governing football competitions.
There was an appeal yesterday at the African Union, and the African Union gave the right to this team to wear these jerseys. Now there are laws, and we will accept these laws, and eventually there will be an appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. The Court of Arbitration for Sport will decide on this issue, and the law of the FIFA is clear on this topic with pictures and articles.
Let's recall that according to Article 16 of the Cup of African Federation, if a team withdraws from a competition, does not show up for a match, refuses to play, or leaves the field before the legal end of the match without the authorization of the referee, it will be considered defeated and will be eliminated from the competition. And the Algerian football family and the illegal football professionals and all Algerian clubs have expressed their full support to the USMA Algiers Football Club, Algeria's representative to the African Football Confederation Cup, following the provocations and unsporting behavior of the Moroccan delegation. And Mariam Barshi has the details.
Upon the arrival of the Moroccan football club RS Berkane on Friday at the airport Houari Boumediene, they compete in the semi-finals of the continental competition. The Algerian custom noticed the Morocco's Berkane football club jerseys with an expanded map of their country. on it, including the occupied territories of the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. The Algerian authorities thwarted through legal means the provocation of the Aras Berkane Club delegation, as the question of Western Sahara is registered at the UN as a decolonization question, not to mention all the continental sports regulations and international standards that ban such acts. The League of Professional Football deplored for its part the Moroccan and Sporting acts expressing support for the USM Algiers club in any decision it takes to safeguard the interest of both the team and Algeria to counter any attempt to violate international football regulations. All Algerian clubs expressed their support for USM Algiers, denouncing a desperate attempt to involve politics in a competition that is supposed to be purely sporting.
You still listen to Radio Algeria International, and the Permanent Bureau of the National Secretariat of the National Polisario Front has expressed its gratitude to Algeria, its government and people under the leadership of President of the Republic Abdelmadjid Tebboune for its continuing support to the Sahrawi people's struggle in the face of the Moroccan expansionist aggression. A meeting presided over by the President of the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic and Secretary General of the Polisario Front, Brahim Ghali, focused on the recent meeting held between the President of the Republic Abdelmadjid Tebboune and his Sahrawi counterpart in the presence of the delegations of the two countries. It coincided with the Security Council's meeting on Western Sahara and on the strategic alliance existing between the two countries. A final communique issued at the end of the meeting reiterated the Sahrawi people's gratitude for Algeria's commitment to support the fight of the peoples to exercise the right to self-determination and independence. And to Palestine now, as the head of UNRWA affirmed that the situation in the West Bank was worsening day by day. New air raids were launched by the Israeli occupation forces against various areas of Gaza, killing and wounding several people. Palestinian sources said 54 people were killed and more than 100 others wounded in the bombardments, which targeted the central area of the Gaza Strip, including Deir al-Balah. According to media, the Al-Adwa hospital in the Nusayrat refugee camp in central Gaza was hit by the Israeli bombardments, causing disturbances to the solar energy system that provides the facility with power. This came as the UN Special Rapporteur on the human rights situation in occupied Palestine, Francesca Albanese, denounced the restrictions imposed by the Israeli authorities that prevented her from visiting Gaza. She expressed regret at the obstacles set by the Israeli occupation, which she stressed had prevented her from carrying through its mission. Meanwhile, more attacks were carried out by Jewish settlers against various parts of the West Bank, including Ramallah, Al-Qidiyah, and the Jordan Valley, amid tightened security measures. You still listen to Radio Algeria International, 14 hours, 43 minutes, Algiers time, and I invite you now to listen to a program compiled and presented by Jamal Salmani.
Our Sun is a normal main sequence G2 star, one of more than 100 billion stars in our galaxy. The Sun is by far the largest object in the solar system. It contains more than 99.8% of the total mass of the solar system. Jupiter contains most of the rest.